Hello everyone, hi guys. Nice to meet you everybody. So we're just gonna wait for some more people to join and then we will start our webinar. So just to let you know, everybody will be muted on this webinar and you will have the chat. I will try to pay attention to the chat as much as I can, and also we will record all the important things in the chat, so later we can get back to you with answers to questions. So if you will have any questions while I'm at the slide, you can ask anytime. So just give us maybe like 5 minutes and we will start. All right, guys, so I see actually, most of the people who signed up already have joined. So pretty much I think we can start. As I mentioned before, any questions you have, you are welcome to ask them in the chat. I'll try to pay as much attention as I can to the chat and answer the questions on the go. If not, after the webinar, after I finish the presentation, I'll be able to answer in more details on your questions. So essentially, we're going to go over about the brokerage, how to set it up, and what are the things that people actually don't tell you about setting up your own brokerage, because there is a lot of information which exists online for traders, but then that's not the case for the business owners. So if you are, I don't know, if you have maybe academy, maybe you have your own YouTube channel, your course, and you want to move to the next stage of the business, which is setting up your own brokerage platform, there is almost no information available online. So on these webinars, that's precisely what we're trying to do, to give information to people. A little bit about us. So essentially, Quad Code, we are a software company. So what we're doing is we build turnkey projects. Our brokerages, they are ready to launch. They are everything included. We have built right now almost 50 brands, way more than 40 brands, brokerages in 150 countries. And we handle literally like 90% of all the expertise. So legal, compliance, technical design. So all of these things, we handle it. So, and it's like a safe and easy start for those of you who are interested to start a brokerage. All right. So in an average, it's really important to mention that comparing to just starting your own development from zero, you're saving like $150,000 if you go with our white label solution. So let me continue. So essentially, I'll address this case to people who have their own course, their own trading academy, their own YouTube channel, maybe, or maybe you're an influencer. So it's very important to understand that when you are working as an introducing broker or as an affiliate, it's not so scalable. So when you own a platform, there is no limit virtually, and you have full control over the platform. One of the things that, again, that people don't tell you is that when you have your own channel, not all people join using the link, of course. I mean, it's obvious, but it's approximately 60% of people only use the link, or in some cases, in some countries, even 50. So essentially, you're losing, technically speaking, you're losing 50% of your revenue, at least. And of course, it's going to be your brand. Of course, it's going to be your knowledge. So you as an affiliate, or you as an introducing broker, you know what your traders want. You know what your traders are looking for, like any special things. So all of these things you'll be able to implement it when you're the owner of the brand. In terms of the scalability as well, no limitations. So it's not going to be the case where like you're earning when you have millions of traders and there is no cap on the earning, nothing like that. And in terms of technology, of course, so I want to mention our company QuadCode. We do the setup fairly quickly. So we're talking about 2 to 3 weeks, and you don't need any tech knowledge, because this is one of the deal breakers that stops people from setting up their own platform. They're scared that they'll need to manage the development, which is a whole new story. So in terms of brokerage models, again, this is something that you should decide before opening your brokerage. But essentially, you have 3 options, 3 standard setups, so where A-book, B-book, and hybrid models combined. So as you all know, A-book is essentially where the commissions and spread, they are all, so the deals are actually sent to liquidity providers, to the interbank or financial institutions. So in this case, of course, the brokerage does not take any risk. So it's only basically making money on the markup of spread, on commissions, on overnight swaps, and things like that. Whether B-book actually accepts the market risk. So in this case, there is no, so B-book broker is not an intermediary. B-book broker actually capitalizes on the risks, on the losses of the traders, and essentially earning more profit and loss, more profits overall. And then hybrid, basically, you combine this model. So we are able to offer all 3 models simply because of expertise. So simply because QuadCode is on the market for 12 years, we have a huge risk management team. We are able to combine those models. And risk management is actually a very important part of the platform. So we have to mention the fact that many people, they simply start their own brokerage in a way of a nice and pretty interface. They put the conditions, but they don't realize that risk management, it's a whole adventure, it's a whole story, it's a whole world in it, which you need to do. So in terms of the brokerage, again, fairly straightforward. It's fairly simple. So what does it allow you? So it allows you to diversify your revenue. So you will see much more data. So as maybe now having a course or now having an academy, you probably see the specific audience which you have. But then when you create a brokerage, you will see people coming from different countries, from different channels, and this will give you more ideas on where to expand your business. So this kind of like flows into the second point of cross-market opportunities, what I already mentioned. So it's really, I mean, as a brokerage, you can work in 150 countries. There is no limit whatsoever. And the cost of you actually trying new market is much lower when you own in a brokerage compared to you having your channel or your course and things like that. So in terms of compliance as well, so it's very important to mention it. So again, when you launch a broker with Quad Code, we already have a compliance and legal team and risk management and anti-fraud team. Sorry. But if you're starting brokerage on your own, this is something to definitely keep in mind, because the fines are quite hefty. The regulation restrictions are important. I mean, it can cap your potential growth if you don't research legal and compliance practices in the area where you will operate. So in terms of user engagement as well, what I mentioned before, so you can use your experience, you can use your knowledge, your expertise, your know-how on what do people want in your brokerage. This is extremely important, because not many brokerages, they bother to adapt to small segments on the market. And then when you open your own brokerage, you actually can offer this more specific, more niche service. And of course, seamless reintegration. So this can optimize a lot your revenue. So here on this slide, I just want to really talk about the things which you need to mention. So I see the question in the chat. I think I'll get back in the end of the presentation. So essentially here, what you can see is the things that are included in our Quad Code offer. And as well, those are the things that if you're opening a broker on your own, you need to keep in mind of those. So essentially, first of the things, of course, is the trading platform. So it's the actual UI and the actual interface where the traders will be trading. So you can check the examples of the platforms we have built, but those can be like Quad Code Markets, for example, or Sabio Trade. What people need really is just a super simple interface. So people want a super simple interface. People want the trades to be executed quickly, no latencies, no delays. So this is essentially what you need. Maybe like in a lot of cases, people overwhelmed with features, but that's not the key. Like 90% of traders, they should look for as simple and as basic interface with simple, fast execution. Reports. So you, of course, need to see the reports. As a business owner, you need to see all the data which you have on the platform. So trading history, user cards, marketing history. So you need to see how well your channels are performing. You need to see how well what traders are interested in, what kind of platforms they need. So what kind of assets they're using, what they're using, what they're not using, when they're trading. So all of this data, you as an owner, you'll be able to then iterate faster in order to improve your platform. In terms of liquidity as well, so we already have liquidity, but you do need to have liquidity and market data feeds. So that's obviously important to have it synchronized with the real market data, with the real numbers. In terms of KYC and IML, so as I mentioned, you do need to keep in mind the local regulation and local compliance requirements in the area where you start operating. So in many cases, it's a license. In many cases, it's a certain structure, certain procedures. It's not something from out of this world, but it's complicated. It's a lot of details, basically, that you need to keep in mind and follow. And again, just want to mention that Quad Code, we have all of these things. So Sarah, hi. Yeah, your question. You're asking whether liquidity providers can be added above what is integrated. So the answer is yes, but the question is why. So typically what you need is to be able to support certain amount of deals. We already have tier 1 liquidity providers integrated, and if we have like the best top 3 of the world liquidity providers, we typically don't look for alternatives. But sure, the answer is yes, it's possible. I want to really emphasize on dealing part. So dealing, sometimes it's called financial analysis, sometimes it's called risk management. So this is something which people ignore a lot. So when people open their own brokerage, they ignore it. They open it and then they pretty much lose money. So there are people, there are traders who abuse the platforms. There are traders who abuse the market conditions. They a lot of times they try to manipulate the market and then take advantage of your platform because you're a starting platform, you're small, you're not able to manage the risk accordingly. And what you need to do is basically you need to ensure that you have risk management 24/7. So we are talking about financial analysts. A lot like in the movies, like people who sit in front of those 6 screens, but they need to look at spreads, commission policies. They need to adapt to different user groups. You need to have algorithms in place who will manage the risks and ensure that you are profitable. But in the same time, ensure that you're not creating crazy market conditions, because of course you need to stay competitive. So this is something what risk management does. And to be honest, this section should be probably like the biggest section of my presentation. But again, there's not much I can tell you because it's more to do with the work and expertise. Like in a lot of cases, for example, we see people offering to open a brokerage platform for you for like a couple of $1,000, but you should realize that that's not the case, because dealing team, like the salaries of the dealer, of the risk manager, or financial analyst is like $5,000 per month. And in order to maintain 24/7 risk management, you need at least 4 dealers. So that already goes down to like 16 or 20K per month. Anyway, so the security, of course. So cybersecurity, you need to have data backed up. It kind of comes back to the KYC and AML and compliance requirements. You need to store the data of your users properly. And this is very, very important when it comes to the regulation. Now, I want to talk about billing as well. So one of the things which will be a blocker for you when you launch your own brokerage is local payment providers. So in every country, people want to obviously deposit money in their local payment method, which is very normal. And then something that happened in the last 10 years, users, they're getting spoiled, or we want our deposits to arrive in minutes, not in days, not in hours. So this is something to keep in mind. And again, I want to repeat that Quadcode, we took like 12 years to integrate local payment providers in every single country, in 150 countries. But this is something to keep in mind, definitely. So like make sure that in the country where you want to operate, you have a local payment gateway and it's convenient and easy for your traders to deposit. Now, what you will need to also ensure is that you have affiliate systems. So again, for your partners, you need to come up with an offers, but typically this is quite easy. If you come from this industry, you already know what's on the market, and you should be able to have some idea of what to offer to your partners who bring you traders, who bring you partners, who bring you business. And then user communication as well. So I really want to emphasize on that. So when we are talking about support, it seems like something really hard to build, but it's very important. So of course, when people have an issue, the first thing they go is support. They don't want to see some useless messages from bot. They need to get somebody who can dive into context and respond. So as well, at Quadcode, we have built the team, the support team. for this. And as well, if you like, you can take our support team or you can train ours. The module is there, but it stays a very important aspect of the business. All right. I see a question from Paul. Yes, so IB module is multi-level. So this is super important because, of course, some people, they have their own IB business. And yes, so it's multi-level. It allows a hierarchy and it allows communication between IB partners. And it's all, the expertise sort of already inbuilt into the affiliate module. So this allows you to kind of remove a lot of manual work. So yeah, let me go to the next slide. So this is, again, this kind of summarizes what we already covered. So we did go over the options. So this is these are the plans, the packages that we have. And again, here I probably want to emphasize that it's not as scary as it looks. So yes, we are kind of expensive compared to the cheapest provider on the market. So, but with Quadcode, our idea is to make the business accessible. So we want to allow people to move their business to the next step faster. So you can pretty much start with standard or advanced and then move to the next level. You can perfectly well start without iOS and Android apps and then get it later, and modules separately. So for this as well, like if you have any questions, I think the best will be if we just schedule a separate meeting and I would explain, but yeah, let me go to the next step. So this is as well something that we offer at Quadcode. So we customize the branding. This is, some of you might think it's not important, but it is. So basically, people do want to trade on the interface they like, which is super normal. And then you, as a business owner, what you will have is you will have your own branding, you will have your own logic, you will have your own interface and your own little features. So what we can do is we can do this. So you will customize the brand for your audience. Paul, I see another question from you. Yes, I think towards the end of the presentation, I'll talk more about the pricing. And yes, I think this information is also accessible. But in the end, there will be my contact details as well. We can just schedule a call to be able to tell you more details. Because, you know, every case is different. We build it turnkey, but we adapt to the particular case, to the business case. And yes, of course, sorry, yeah, Paul, I just want to add, like, so one of the things is the interface, but other things is, of course, the special features. So for example, if you will have bonuses, like some platforms have them as promo codes, some have them as maybe the cashback, or maybe some promo codes or bonus with a wager. So any special structure, or maybe you would have specific retention or bonus model. So yes, these things are all possible. Yes, we build those as well. And here, to come back to our presentation, essentially, the most important, of course, is to start driving traffic. So all of these things are already integrated with us. If you're starting your own brokerage, you need to maybe not overthink it, but you do need to plan it. So in a way that you need to understand where your traffic will come from, so that it comes from different sources, from SEO, from email marketing. So again, maybe if you have a course, if you have your own course or platform or trading academy, you probably get it from one source, but as a platform, you will be able to scale to the next level. Okay. I see also a question from Katerina, what trading tools can be offered? So in our case, from Quadcode, we don't have such limitations. So pretty much, and we don't have extra cost for this also, just to mention. So you can, in your platform, you can put any assets from anywhere in the world. So whether it's crypto, if it's commodities, ETFs, indices, shares, whatever you want. Of course, however, we do review it before posting it. Like if it's going to be some, like some tiny asset or some really manipulative asset, so it's dangerous for you primarily. So our risk management does the analysis and they tell you that, yes, look, like this we can add. But in 90% of cases, we simply add it. There is no issue. So I hope this answers your question. In terms of marketing channel as well. So this is something that you need to decide as a business owner, because of course the business survive thanks to the community and thanks to the traders. But you need to decide what would be most efficient for you, for your audience. Typically, PPC is the most optimal in the sense that it's predictable. Influencer marketing and affiliate marketing are very similar, because basically this is talking about education, talking about course. This is, you're pretty much attracting audience to a certain person. Me, for example, as well, like if I want to choose a platform for trading, I will go after the person who teaches me. So like if I listen to the influencer, of course, I'll follow his advice, and I will be asking myself, like, what platform do you use? And then social media kind of falls in the same category. SEO is something you have to understand. It's expensive. It's something that brings result maybe in a year or so, but this is something that's worth building, definitely. And then PR as well, and email marketing, content marketing. It's something that you don't see results immediately, but you do need to have it because everybody else have it in a way. I see also a question from Jason Allen. So you have a set of proprietary trading algorithms that you want to make available. Can they be added as trading tools? So the answer is yes. Essentially, we have API and we have scripts where you can build the scripts and you can build those algorithms for you. You can build them as robo-advisors or indicators or bots. Let me know if this is what you meant, if I answered the question. But also, it's actually maybe it will be also relevant and interesting, but we can also add the synthetic assets, the OTC. So when you're the owner of the platform, you can also create synthetic asset, which is unique to your platform. And this becomes quite interesting for some people. Yeah. So in terms of the kind of expect how much money to spend, so this is probably the cost for marketing. So again, the cost for opening a brokerage with quad code, we start at 25,000. And then, of course, like you can build and add things indefinitely. So, I mean, there is no maximum price, but the cheapest brokerage that you can build with us is $25,000. We are taking an average. So like an average people probably spend around like 40K and then 19K, 20K on the first month on marketing and the platform. And this is how the cash flow typically looks. So we are looking at the cases where the brokers are breaking even on third months and then actually start getting profits on fourth and fifth months. And I want to tell you that it's real data and it's not optimistic data. So this is an average data of the brokers who worked with us and with other platforms. And this is quite actually interesting because, the business is not as scary as it might look. I mean, you maybe worked as an academy or maybe you worked as a course for multiple years, while we just want to tell you that this is one of the things of the topic of our webinar, what nobody tells you about opening your brokerage. When you open a brokerage, you actually break even like in 2 months. So it's a business which brings return on investment very fast. I see a question from Sarah. So you're asking about copy trading. we do not have copy trading as a feature. We are building it right now, but yes, we do have solutions with which you can integrate. So if you open a brokerage with quad code, there is kind of plugins which can give you copy trading, yes, for your platform. Yeah, so moving to the next slide. So again, this is kind of an average data for you to see, but I guess the long story short here would be that it's really not a scary business and it really brings return on investment relatively fast. Jason Allen, yeah, I see the question from you about the check mark, whether the customer can say yes to using your algo. So yeah, those are kind of like small features which I'm talking about, which can make your brokerage unique. So like maybe, like maybe if you're working as an affiliate or IB, the brokerage where with which you're working might not bother to add these features, but yes, like this is the idea that it's possible to do it. So in terms of the business plan, again, so this is for you to just a more representative model. So this is about cumulative P&L, cumulative expenditures. Again, here we're kind of coming back to the idea that when you have the brand, when you own the brand, people are coming to you. So when you're working as an affiliate, maybe only 50% of people actually use the link. The rest, they just see the brand, they just go on the platform directly, why not? And then here, when you own your brokerage, what you will see is if people like it, they will simply recommend it to their friends, to their relatives, to anybody in their community. You will attract different communities. So this is why it kind of, I wouldn't call it passive income, of course, because you do need to work a lot as an owner of the brand, but it's more passive than being an affiliate or being an IB or having a course. So this is in terms of the checklist. So I would say it's really as well not complicated, but it's a lot of details. So first you choose a provider, you decide the software company with which you want to go, or you put together, maybe you compile, maybe you take quad code, maybe you take some white label providers, or maybe you just pick the software together, like CRM, the software for trading, everything separately. You need to decide, of course, on the legal entity, on compliance, and things like that. The domain name actually is very interesting thing. A lot of people skip this part and then have problems in a few years later. So you need to do research on your trademark. You need to select unique name, because a lot of times you will select a name which is generic, which is already registered. You will start operating, but then in 2-3 years, you will get a lawsuit from the owner of the trademark. So this is actually possible, like this happens. So at QuadCode, what we do is we have a legal team. Who actually does this research for you. So take into account the countries which you need for operation, the instrument types you want to offer, the platforms where your traders want to trade. As I mentioned, the payment methods. So prepare this before actually launching. Like, do this research. What do your traders actually want? Paul saying, yeah, it's actually, no, it's like it happened to a lot of business owners. And it's like, it's, as much as it sounds, it's not obvious, but I mean, we just know it because we already have this expertise. We already built 40 brokers, but it's actually not obvious information. Yeah. And yeah, so in terms of the conditions as well, so like what commissions you want to apply, minimal deposit, minimum investment, things like that. So again, step 3 is, in case you want to set up brokerage with quad code, you kind of making your life easier in this way, because we're kind of trying to do like a cheap and easy start. for people, but we prepare everything. We have a huge team, Quadcode is 700 people, so we do the work on the background. We give you already ready work done and materials. Step 4, pretty much this is where your brokerage is almost built, and this is where you're trying to advertise your platform. So you start making a waiting list. A very good practice is not to launch immediately, but to create a platform and wait maybe for a couple of months. So this will allow you to create some waiting list and launch with a better community. And then App Store is always the last step, because again, sometimes App Store don't publish immediately. Sometimes they take time to reply, but it's also possible. It's not a rocket science. At Quadcode, we actually have expertise, and we have a separate team who just publishes apps. So in almost all of the cases, we have published the app from the first attempt, which I think is really cool. And then on 2 cases, we have published it from the second attempt. So basically, Google Play and iOS Store, they pretty much change the conditions all the time. So again, nothing to be scared of, nothing to panic. So we just overview the conditions, publish again, that's it. No extra monetary cost, only the time cost in this case. So, and yeah, the final step is pretty much everything related to probably what you're doing already. So this is creating an offers, this is all creating a system, creating sub-affiliate logic, like somebody asked, and a list of regions where you want to operate. So in terms of the cost structure, this is something I want to emphasize on. So again, it probably will sound like we are so good, the competitors so bad, but it is true in a way. So we have done a competition research, and a lot of competitors, they offer you a very cheap price, which sort of opens your pockets, while in reality they give you a lot of things separately. So like a lot of things are hidden costs, and you as a not experienced owner of the platform, you might not even think that you need these things. But so the difference with Quadcode is simply it simply are included. I see a question from Jason. So it sounds like the trading platform is proprietary to Quadcode. So basically, in this sense, yes. So the trading platform, the interface is ours. So we are a competitor to MetaTrader. So lately, last couple of years, we see that people are switching to us. So in a lot of cases, Meta quotes, they're not replying to you as a small business owner. They don't care about you. And it makes sense. They will care about the brands who are, having millions of traders on their platform. So you, as a small business owner, you would be not a star client to them. But to us, you will be, actually. So, yes. So right now, we are not compatible with MetaTrader. We are thinking to do it, but right now it's not possible. I hope it's not a deal breaker, but it's true that actually in a lot of cases, the platform switched to us from MetaTrader. And again, it's not a rocket science, not something special. We're just more user-friendly. Things are executed faster. This is what traders want nowadays, really. And in terms of expert advisors and robo-advisors and bots for MetaTrader, so yes, it's kind of extra work to rebuild them because we have a different system and different API, but it's possible and people have done it. It takes maybe a couple of weeks to rebuild the code. And yes, you can run automated trade platform. You can run automated trade methods on our platform, yes. If you like, later there will be contact details in the end slide. I can send you the developers who do this. But yeah, just to come back to our slide. So here, really, when I have been doing competition research, I just saw that there's a lot of hidden costs. It's like I went on the meeting and they tell me, yeah, sure, you can start with 5,000, super easy, super straightforward. But then if you want to have more than 1,000 traders, you have to pay CRM. You have to look for the CRM. You have to see if it's compatible. Maybe it's not compatible. Maybe not all the data will be seen. So this is another like pain in the neck. PSPs as well. You need to integrate them. They're not integrated. But how will the traders deposit if you don't have PSPs integrated? Everybody wants local payment methods. Liquidity as well. So you have to pay for liquidity. You have to pay for infrastructure and servers. While you have to understand that, maybe if you have 1,001 trader, you will have to already pay for the separate server space, which is extra cost, and it's not scalable for you, as a small business. Dealers as well, like this is a whole separate topic on dealers. Nobody tells you that you need risk management, but you need risk management big time. And KYC as well. KYC is a tiny cost, but still it exists, around $2 per check. We already have it included. Customer support, this is something that you definitely need to have. We have it also separately, but simply because it's just, human time. It's employees. So again, with us, much simpler. You pretty much just get a demo, you decide on the settings you want, and you launch. Here are my contact details, my email and my WhatsApp. You can just scan a QR code. I'll just put here the email for you to copy paste, but you can just send the WhatsApp message if you scan. Also, I see a question from Katerina about AWS. I'm not sure about this, but probably yes. But again, this is something that our team, they do proactively the research all the time. I mean, sometimes I guess Google becomes a better servers. In Saudi Arabia, for example, it's only Huawei who offer a really good server infrastructure. But AWS, to my knowledge, it's the best, the fastest right now, the most secure one. So Katerina, I don't know if it answered your question, but like if you're looking for another server provider, tell me why, and I'm just curious because I think, to the best of my knowledge, AWS is the fastest right now and the most secure. I see a question from Sarah about 6.5 monthly fees. Yes, so basically, so this is something that we do at QuadCode. So the cost depend on the monthly cost depend on the package which you choose. So for example, if you build a super simple platform with like just crypto assets, it will of course cost less. But typically it depends on the amount of features you want to build on. Essentially, again, in QuadCode, most of the time we try to agree on the revenue share. So probably we ask you to pay a fixed fee only for a certain amount of months until you reach certain P&L, and then we agree on the revenue share, because this would be fair, because our partnership, it's like a marriage. Like we depend on you to make all the decisions, but again, you become dependent on us in terms of technology. And all such things like improvements, updates, features. So we want to be fast and proactive and flexible for traders, and this is why we agree on the revenue share. But yeah, the monthly costs it can start from 6.5K per month. Okay, in terms of latency with liquidity providers on AWS, so that's precisely my point when I was saying, so as I understood, the latency at AWS is the smallest for liquidity providers and for everything. So this is why I think that AWS is the most secure. But I mean, in any case, nowadays, everybody just uses the main providers. I mean, what are they like? AWS, Google, Huawei, like tier 1 providers. I mean, I think even we have all of them integrated. It's just a matter of like we switch maybe every few years to test which one is better. It's all to provide, most competitive solutions. But yeah, guys, so I guess thank you very much for participating. I hope everybody already got the presentation and everybody got my contact. So if you like, you can just message me directly. I'm pretty much active on WhatsApp. I respond pretty fast. And if you have any longer question, we can just go ahead and schedule an online meeting, one-to-one, and I will be able to explain more in details. Perfect. All right. Yeah, so I guess thank you very much, guys. I'll be disconnecting now, and see you. Bye-bye.